What if you could learn a life-altering lesson right now that took someone else over a decade of trial, error, and maybe even regret to figure out? What if you could condense 10 years of wisdom into the next few minutes?
Welcome back to Take and Grow, your daily source for self-improvement, motivation, and unlocking your full potential. Maya, that's an incredible 10 plus years to realize what I'll explain in 8 minutes. It immediately makes me think about all the time we potentially waste figuring things out the hard way. It taps into that universal fear of looking back with regret.
It really does, Ben. That fear is a powerful motivator, but often we don't act on it until it feels too late. The core idea suggested by that title is profound. There are fundamental truths about living a fulfilling life that often take years, even decades of bumps, bruises, and detours to truly internalize. But what if we could bypass some of that struggle? What if the core realization is simpler than we think?
I think many of us feel like we're wasting time, stuck in routines, chasing things that don't matter, or just drifting. We sense there's a better way, but figuring it out seems overwhelming. The promise of distilling a decade's worth of learning is incredibly appealing. What is that core lesson likely to be, based on that title and visual?
While I can't know the exact lesson from that specific video without accessing it, the theme points strongly towards the urgent need to live intentionally by focusing on action aligned with true values, rather than getting lost in the noise of trivialities, distractions, or the fear of imperfection. It's about recognizing the finite nature of time. That gravestone in the thumbnail isn't subtle, and understanding that someday is not a plan.
So it's likely about cutting through the complexity we often create for ourselves. We spend years overthinking, planning, waiting for the perfect moment, when the answer might be simpler and more immediate.
Precisely. Think about how many years people spend in careers they don't love, telling themselves they'll switch later, in relationships that aren't fulfilling, hoping things will magically improve, putting off health goals, waiting for the right time to start, consuming endless self-help content without taking meaningful action, worrying about what others think, paralyzing their own potential.
Guilty as charged on consuming without acting sometimes. It's easy to get caught in the learning loop instead of the doing loop.
That's the trap. The 10 plus years represents that period of being stuck in the learning, waiting, or drifting phase. The 8 minutes promise suggests the realization itself is straightforward. Stop waiting, start acting. Now, on what truly matters. It's about identifying the vital few priorities and ruthlessly cutting out the trivial many that consume our days and ultimately our lives. This aligns perfectly with Take and Grow's mission: build confidence, develop success habits, master your mindset, and take action.
If the lesson is potentially that simple, act on what matters now. Why does it often take a decade or more to truly get it? What are the barriers?
That's the critical question then. Several psychological barriers keep us stuck. The illusion of time. When we're younger, time feels infinite. We think, I have plenty of time later. We fail to grasp the compound interest of small, consistent actions taken early and the irreversible loss of time spent on things that don't align with our deeper values. Fear of failure and imperfection. We wait for the perfect plan, the perfect skills, the perfect moment. This perfectionism is often a mask for fear. Taking action means risking failure, judgment, or realizing we're not as good as we hoped. It often takes years of inaction and the resulting regret to realize that imperfect action is far better than perfect inaction. Societal conditioning and distractions. We're bombarded with messages about what we should want, what success should look like. We chase external validation, the job title, the car, the social media likes, instead of defining success on our own terms. It can take years to decondition ourselves and realize these external markers often don't lead to fulfillment. Plus, the sheer volume of distractions available today makes it incredibly easy to numb ourselves and avoid confronting the big questions. Lack of clarity. Many people simply don't know what truly matters to them. They haven't done the deep work of defining their core values and priorities. So they drift, reacting to life instead of intentionally creating it. Gaining that clarity can be a long, often painful process. The comfort zone. Doing the same thing, even if it's unfulfilling, feels safe. Taking action toward a meaningful goal often requires stepping into uncertainty, discomfort, and the unknown. It can take a significant life event or years of quiet desperation to finally push someone out of that zone.
Those barriers are so real. Fear of failure, the lure of distractions, the comfort zone. They explain why we can know we should be doing something different, but still not do it.
Exactly. The 10+ years often represents the time spent battling these internal and external forces. The realization, the 8-minute explanation, is the breakthrough moment when the cost of inaction finally outweighs the fear of action. It's the moment you internalize that your time is finite and that the only way to avoid regret is to align your daily actions with your deepest values today. Not tomorrow, not next year, today.
Okay, Maya, so how do we, the listeners of Take and Grow, shortcut this 10-year learning curve? How do we implement this wisdom now in our own 8 minutes or less?
It starts with brutal honesty and immediate, small actions. Here's a condensed action plan. Confronts mortality. 1 minute. Truly internalize the message of that thumbnail. Imagine looking back at your life from its end. What activities, worries, or possessions that consume your time now will seem utterly insignificant then? What will you wish you had done more of, less of? This isn't morbid, it's clarifying. Identify one core value. 2 minutes. If you could only live by one guiding principle for the rest of your life, e.g., growth, connection, contribution, freedom, health, what would it be? Don't overthink it. Go with your gut. What matters most? Identify one misaligned action. 2 minutes. Based on that core value, what is one recurring action, habit, or commitment in your life right now that is clearly not aligned with it? E.g., spending hours scrolling social media if your value is connection, saying yes to obligations that drain you if your value is freedom, neglecting exercise if your value is health. Define one aligned microaction. 2 minutes. What is the smallest possible action you can take today or commit to doing tomorrow that is aligned with your core value and moves you, even slightly, away from the misaligned action, e.g., call one friend instead of scrolling, decline one small request, do a 5-minute walk. Take the action. 1 minute. Don't just plan it, do it, or schedule it immovably in your calendar for tomorrow. This tiny act breaks the pattern of inaction.
That's incredibly practical. Confront, clarify value, identify misalignment, define microaction, act. It cuts right through the overwhelm.
It does. This isn't about figuring out your entire life plan in 8 minutes. It's about internalizing the core lesson. Intentional action on what matters is the antidote to a wasted life, and taking the first step to embody that truth immediately. The momentum from that first step is what starts to collapse the 10-year timeline. You learn by doing, not just by realizing.
It's about proving to yourself right now that you can choose differently, that you don't have to wait a decade.
Exactly. You build confidence not by waiting for it, but by taking action, however small. You master your mindset not by thinking about it, but by interrupting old patterns with new choices. You develop success habits not by planning them perfectly, but by starting imperfectly today. The profound lesson learned over 10+ years often boils down to this: don't waste your precious, finite time waiting, drifting, or being paralyzed by fear. Identify what truly matters and take consistent, imperfect action towards it, starting now.
It's a call to wake up from autopilot and become the conscious creator of our days, and therefore our lives. Simple, but incredibly powerful.
It is. Don't let another decade pass you by. Take the shortcut. Start living intentionally today.
If this episode sparked something in you, if you're ready to stop waiting and start acting, please hit that like button.
And if you're serious about building confidence, developing success habits, and mastering your mindset, subscribe to Take and Grow for more transformative content. Share this video with someone who needs this urgent reminder.
Using the 5-step action plan we outlined, what is the one aligned micro action you are committing to taking today or tomorrow? Share it in the comments below. Let's inspire each other to take action.
Thanks for tuning in to Take and Grow. We'll see you in the next episode.